everyone, this is Kevin, your Apptrepreneur, and welcome to either Monday's news video or Sunday's live stream. So I'm going to take a moment to explain what's going on right now for those of you who are not aware, and this will give people a chance to actually come into the live stream chat. Now then, some of you may know that on Sundays, I do a live stream, a weekly live stream, and there are topics that are important to my audience that are discussed. Now, I've been saying to people like, hey, if you're not interested in like the whole live chat thing and you're watching this in the future, just watch the first 10 to 15 minutes and you'll be good. However, sometimes the main topic takes a little bit longer to discuss. And as a result, people watch videos and then they don't know where it's going to end, so they end up clicking away from the video. So I have decided to do something a little different going forward. Like, I think this might be a good change overall. We will continue to do the live streams. We'll continue to do the main news story at first. However, what we will do is we will do the beginning of the live stream like a normal show. There's not going to be a lot of interaction except what you see in the chat bar at the beginning and in the middle. And after the story ends, I'll do a typical closing. And after that closing, then the interaction of the live stream will start. Now, what this is going to mean for the future is at the end of the day, I'm going to download the live stream and we will edit the video down to what the general people who are not part of the live stream want to watch. After that, the live stream itself will be turned off and it will be made exclusively for YouTube members and Patreon supporters. It's now granted, we are not making these live streams exclusively for YouTube members or Patreon subscribers. We are just going to add a little extra value if you are a, paying supporter, which we definitely appreciate. We definitely need all the support we can get. Everybody does, so we appreciate that you take a few of your dollars, which is important to you, and you give it towards us. And we want to honor that with more exclusive content. We've decided that after the live stream has initially aired, those videos will be exclusive to members and Patreon supporters. However, we will be taking the news article that is in the live stream itself, and we will take it out so that all of the subscribers can watch that part of the video. So that's what we're going to do going forward. We'll see how it works out. Who knows? But anyway, that's what's going on. So anyway, now that we have given enough time for people to come in fact, I see Roger and Tommy here. Hey guys, how you doing? Let's start with what's going to be truly a very, what's the word I'm looking for? This is going to be a tense topic. It's going to be a tense topic because you know what? I've kind of noticed a little bit of division going on hold on, what? I've noticed something that's been happening recently, and in the fact that social distancing, it's well, let me pull this up so you know exactly why this is going to be a tense discussion. So, social distance shaming. Now, we probably knew this was coming at some point. We probably knew this was coming at some point. We all know what shaming is: fat shaming, cigarette shaming, eating shaming, being red shaming, being blue shaming. Shaming is basically the act where we disagree with someone as a group and as a society. We think something should not happen. And there is always something. Like growing up, even though it wasn't called this, it was actually called heckling. It was for people who smoke cigarettes. We would not feel bad about going up to someone and saying, "Why on earth are you smoking? Don't you know how dangerous that is? Like that's stupid. You're going to get lung cancer." And people would have, one of two responses. They'd either say, "Screw you," and basically brush you off, or they would try to politely explain that they've tried to quit, yada, yada, yada. Here's the thing. That did not help anyone. Nobody ever quit smoking because they were shamed in public for smoking. And yet we live in a society where people are shamed for everything. We also have a term for it. It's called being canceled. We disagree with something, we cancel them, the jerks. And yet we are in a time where I have to tread what we're going to talk about very carefully, because I have a very strong opinion about this, but likewise, my viewers also have a strong opinion that might not necessarily align with mine. Now, if they just hate the fact that I have this opinion, I can't help them in that situation. But I'm going to try to be as respectful as possible when it comes to talking about this. And obviously, we're going to talk about social distancing, because I believe we should social distance. I believe that you should stay indoors. One of the things that I have said that people have chided me over saying is keep your stupid ass at home. And while I agree it's a little forceful, I don't necessarily apologize for having that opinion. I think you should stay at home. I think that if you go out there, you are not only putting yourself in danger, you are putting other people in danger. The way I describe it to people is that, you know what? You're allowed to get drunk. Seriously, you're allowed to get drunk. But once you get into the car of a vehicle and you are drunk and you start driving around, you know what? Yeah, you are putting yourself in danger, but you know what? You're also putting other people's lives in danger, and I don't think you have the right to do that. And before anyone starts coming in and saying, yeah, well, that applies for driving in general. I mean, you could be in an accident. It's like, it's not the same thing. When you are doing something that deliberately puts other people at risk, people that you may or may not even know, then I think that's a little selfish. And so I take that stance when it comes to what's going on right now with the C virus. Stay home. You don't need to be outdoors for the most part. I mean, I agree that the work situation is a problem, and I believe that we should be reopening businesses to the best of our ability, because you can't have people not working. But for the most part, you know what? If something does not need to be done, then don't do it. It is everyone's responsibility. This only works if everyone does it. But kind of like that dumb little kid who doesn't want to get the measles shot and then puts everyone at risk for getting the measles. You know what? Yeah, technically it's their right not to do it, but you're putting everyone at risk. And that brings us to the next thing, protesting. You see, there's a reason I brought all that up. Because even with the idea that people should stay indoors, people are protesting because of the safety issues. So here's the thing. There was like a huge protest started on a couple days ago for Amazon, Target, and InstaCart. Like for a few days, there were articles being written, and Amazon was like trying to curb conversation on the inside. But here's the thing. They were trying to basically protest like, hey, we're essential workers, but we are working in the most dangerous situations out there for little to no pay and almost no protection. And you saw articles like this. And some people did show up for these strikes. I'm not going to say no one did. In fact, I heard that the Target near my house actually had some protesters outside. It was like 7, but, someone showed up to protest, and people were calling out sick. They were doing what they could. Unfortunately, when you type Amazon protest in on Twitter, you're not seeing an awful lot about it. You're seeing articles about the strike, but you're not seeing really that many pictures. You're just not. Like, where are the people that are really trying to protest the working conditions? This is the interesting thing. When it comes time to protesting your job and protesting for better, well, there's a photo. And hey, look, by the way, kudos to these people. That this is probably how you're going to do it if you need to protest at all. Masks on, social distancing. See how they are? But here's how you don't do it. This is one of the few places where they did protest, and look at all those people. Back to back, you know what? Here's the thing. If you're protesting safety, this is not how you do it. This is not how you do it. You are being as unsafe as you possibly can to protest. But overall, pictures like this are rare. Amazon and Instacart was not trending on May 1st. It just wasn't. You don't see a whole lot of photos from the protest because there weren't a lot taken. There were a couple places where they were protesting, but look, it's look the single persons here. it really ended up not being a thing except for here. But you know what protest did work out? The Huntington Beach protests. Because Governor Newsom decided that he wanted to close the beaches. In fact, funny story about this one. Me and my wife decided, we were just tired of being cooped in the house, and we were going to take a drive last Saturday, the Saturday before yesterday. We were not going to get out of the car or anything, and we took our masks just in case we had to get out of the car, which we did for gas. But we drove along Pacific Highway because, it's a beautiful scenery and all that jazz. And what did we see but tons and tons of people on the beach? Not practicing social distancing, putting everyone at danger, and I realized, well, shoot. This area is going to become like the new hotspot in the world, if you will, from C virus cases because, people don't want to stay inside. And look, I know it's warm out there. I know the beach calls, but you know what? It's not safe to do it, and it's irresponsible to do it. You know what? Some people say they have to do Uber and Lyft because they have to make money. You know what? I'll begrudgingly give them that one. I still think they're doing themselves no favors in the long run. I don't think they're doing their guests any favors in the long run. But you know what? I will at least buy that you need to make money in this situation. But the beach? Heck, you could live without the beach for a year. You could totally live without the beach for a year. And what happens when you search Huntington Beach? Well, look, you see a ton of protests pictures like this. Like, look at that. And also, look, almost no masks. Like, bunch of self-entitled people who, look, no testing. Really? No testing? No tracing? I could agree with that. No tracking? Well, look, you got to track it to a certain extent. I agree with certain methods of tracking. No spying? I agree. No snitching? Gray area. No mask, disagree with that right now. Granted, the masks will eventually come off, but look, these people are protesting over us. Open the churches. Well, guess what? I go to church every Sunday. It's online. You can go to church online too. And look, I know what's happening right now. People are basically bored. They're bored. Like, these people do not seem to be worried about work or anything or health. They are just bored. They want to go to the beach. That's what this was all about. But two things struck out to me on this. First of all, this is how you do a protest. This is how you do a protest. Look at all those people. Look at the signs. Look at how they're in traffic. You know what? I have never seen an Uber, Amazon, Lyft, Postmates. I've never seen a gig worker protest look like these photos. There's never this many people. I mean, there was that one that I went to, one of the first ones, and yeah, there was a group of people, but it wasn't. Look, it was less than this group of people, and there are photos of just like, let's see if we can find one. Of course, now there's memes of the thing. Look at that. Look at that. Like, see, I have never seen a gig worker protest. So first of all, if you want to protest, this is how you protest. But unfortunately, this is not for better pay for Uber or Postmates or Amazon workers. This is for the damn beaches. The damn beaches. Look, guys, I know things are tough right now. I know things are tough, but we need to get our priorities together. I know there are people who, frankly, don't think we should self-isolate at all. I have had longtime viewers who I like and who I respect tell me they don't get vaccinated, they are living life normally, they don't trust the government, and you know what? I guess that's your right to do it. I will defend your right to believe it. But the thing is, it's not like the government is just hammering down on you for no reason. Like, there are a lot of people dying and getting sick. This thing is very contagious. It is truly an invisible enemy. And I find it amazing that we find it in our hearts and we find time to protest not going to the beach, which you truly do not need to do. And we do not take the time to protest, well, this location did, but for the most part, we don't take the time to protest wages or anything like that. That is just absolutely insane to me. Guys, this isn't forever. We will one day take off the masks. We will be able to shake hands again. We will have a vaccination. This will not be nearly as scary again. But right now, no one's system is immune to this. You could very much get people who do not want to get sick, very, very sick. And look, if you're going to do things that you have to do to make money or to take care of your family, that's one thing. If you're going to do things because, hey, you want to go to the movie theaters, or you want to go to the beach, or you want to watch a live baseball game, you know what? I think we can all live without that for just a little while. Here's the other thing to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind. When you see things like this, keep in mind, we were hopefully on track to reopen by June. Like, I can guarantee you Memorial Day canceled this year. 4th of July might very well be canceled this year because of things like this. So, look, again, I do not want to get into social distance shaming. In fact, this article even says when you're allowed to be mean. These days, you can't open your front door without someone yelling at you for doing something wrong. Sometimes you are doing something wrong, like eating a corn dog or wearing Crocs, but a lot of the time you're just existing. And as we struggle through the C virus pandemic and quarantine, existing is basically all it takes to become the target of relentless social distance shaming, which I disagree with. Social distance shaming began the moment the experts told us to stay inside, at which point we immediately promoted ourselves to person who knows best and start telling everyone else what to do. This is helpful in many cases, as Florida residents have often proven resistant to good sense in the past, and California is quickly joining that list. But it's getting to the point where you can't take out your garbage without someone shouting at you to get back inside. Some parks, marinas, and golf courses are now open in Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties, and there are rules for visiting them. There are rules for taking a walk around your neighborhood. We think there should be rules about who you're allowed to shame to, and we should think about how to make them. Yeah, so here's the thing. I don't necessarily agree with shaming in general. I do think we need to, but there are some differences. Like, someone at the park isn't wearing a mask, that's probably worth mentioning. Someone at the grocery store isn't wearing a mask. If you're not wearing a mask, please don't leave the house. Just don't leave the house, please. But I'm trying not to do this social distancing thing. But again, this is not helping. But then, of course, bigger picture, what we talk about on my channel, where the heck were the Uber and Amazon and Postmates drivers? Where were all of them? When they did their protests, where were they? I didn't see crowds like this. Like, we will put more effort into keeping the beaches open than we will to get paid a decent wage. And you wonder why I don't think the protests work. Because this is what... let's turn that off. Because this is what you need to see when there's no virus in the air at the Uber headquarters and everything. This is what you need to see. But no, we'll never see this. We'll never see this. In fact, as I've mentioned before, in previous live streams, I've asked people, hey, after Uber screwed you how many times do you, whose plans to actually go back to this? Almost everyone was unanimous. They plan to go back to this. And this is why they've got you. This is why it's also probably not really worth talking about Uber and Lyft too much anymore. Like, why? It's not going to get better. I mean, unless you start doing things like this and quitting, it won't get better. But I don't know. We'll definitely turn out for the beaches. We won't turn out to get ourselves better pay. So I don't know if this is like a news story or a rant. Maybe it's a little of both. I don't know. But we were going to do it. We decided to do it live anyway. So anyway, that's where we are going to end the news story. So for in the future, thank you for watching. I'd like to know what your thoughts on any of this are. Comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.